Hi and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your coding environment so that when you start writing and learning about HTML and everything will be building in this series, it will be easier for you to follow through. So I'm going to just be typing everything here because I'll just say setting coding environment. Yeah, so I'm going to just write a checklist here that I'm going to follow through. So the first thing that you're going to need is you need a code editor. So you need a code editor. And in this case, the code editor that we're going to be using is Visual Studio Code. So, okay, Visual Visual Studio Code. And to see how you can get this, you will just go to Google and search Visual Studio Code. Check the first result there. So you're going to get to this part that says code.visualstudiocode.com, and you're going to go here. So you should choose depending on the operating system that you're using. If you're using a Windows machine, you'll go to install VS Code for Windows. Mac OS, you'll do the same, follow the instructions, same as for Linux. There's also Visual Studio Code for the web, but I'd recommend you just install it as an application in your machine. So, okay, so if you come here, you're going to see the options that you have. You're going to select by default, it should be able to pick up the operating system that you're using, then you can download. But you can see here it's giving me options that I can use to download. So you're going to just click on download and follow the instructions that it's going to show you. Now, because I already have it installed and I'm using a Linux machine, I will not be able to show you every step that you should be able to follow to install this. But again, just take the initiative and try and install Visual Studio Code on your machine. But once you download it here, you can just use the app installer in your machine to install it. Now, once you've installed Visual Studio Code, and this is what it's going to look like. So you install it and you open it up. It's going to look like this. Let me open it here. So I already have my Visual Studio Code open. This is what it should be able to look like. It's probably going to pop up a window here to show you something, but this is what Visual Studio Code looks like. And once you get here, there are a number of things that you need to understand about Visual Studio Code, especially how to create a file. There are a lot of these other things. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to first of all think of how you organize files in your machine. I want you to go and dedicate a folder, preferably in the desktop in desktop on your machine. In the desktop, create a folder. You can call that folder, for example, web development course. Then you'll be using that folder to write your code. It will be easier for organization purposes, and even for when you want to open Visual Studio Code. So once you open up Visual Studio Code, then you can be able to manage everything through this section. For example, if you want to create a file, as you can see when I hover over here, I have these icons. There's one when I have over it, it says new file, another one new folder. So if I want to create a new file, I'll just click on this. So let's say I want to create an HTML file. I'll just say index.html. So HTML files have a .html extension. And you'll notice that the moment I typed in HTML, there's these two angle brackets that came about here. So then you can hit enter and then it basically installs it like that. So once you've installed the HTML, you can start writing your HTML code, everything that you need. Then if you want to create a folder, you will come to here. It says new folder. So there are certain times when you're organizing our projects, you want to have a specific folder for something else. So let's say you want to have a dedicated folder for images. I'll just go inside of this. I'll just click on folders. Then I type in images. This is a folder for images. Or you can have any other everything. Is you're going to see how I organize them so that you're able to follow along very well. So this is very important to understand here. Then you can also come to file here. You can also just do the same operations from here, new file, new window, all of it. You can also go ahead and open a different folder from here. If there's a different folder that you have in your machine, or you just want to navigate to the folder that you want to open up, you can just come here, click on open folder. Then it's going to pop up a window like this, and you can now navigate in your machine and look for a specific folder that you want to open. Now, remember, my interface will be a little bit different from yours if you're using a different operating system. Now that that is out of the way, there are a number of things that we need whenever we are writing HTML, because it's HTML we're going to start with here. Now, as you can see, I created an index.html file. We're going to be working with this file. I'll just leave it as is. So you need to write HTML code. So to write HTML code, for now, I'm going to just use, we usually have a shortcut that we use. I type in an exclamation mark, and then you can see these options that I have here. The first one says Emmet abbreviation. So I click on that, and as you can see, it gives me it auto completes the basic boilerplate of HTML code. Now, it's okay if you don't understand what you can see here. We're going to be looking at this in great detail in the next video. So, but what you can see here, basically, this is HTML code, right? Then you can type, you'll start, when you start writing our code, you're going to see everything here. So I'm just going to create a simple heading tag, and I'll just call it my web page. And this is what you're going to be, we can be able to now view this on the browser. This is where it gets interesting. So the way we use Visual Studio Code, it has a number of extensions that you can use. Extensions are basically, think of it as mini applications that are inside of Visual Studio Code, or that you can install in your Visual Studio Code, that are going to help you, let's say, accelerate your work and productivity. There are many other, rather, there are many other reasons why you'll need an extension. So in this case, if you come to the left panel, you're going to see this part that has extensions, right? So you will see this extension section. Again, your interface might be a little bit different because I have a lot of things installed in my machine, but you should be able to see this extensions icon here. So if you click on it, it takes you here, and here are a number of extensions that you can go ahead and install. So what you do is you'll come here and you'll type in the name of the extension that you want. So this is where it gets important. The number of extensions that I want us to install, and I'm going to just add them here to our checklist. So in Visual Studio Code, I'm going to just do this. So the number of extensions that you need to install is, okay, let me just have it numbered like that. First, you saw I typed in the exclamation mark, and it auto-complete a number of things for me. The extension that I'm using for that is called Emmet. So in this case, you'll come here and you'll type in Emmet, Emmet. Then you're going to see a number of there's a number of them that are going to come up here for you to use. And I want you to just focus on the Mithril Emmet. We also have this Emmet Live that you can use, but I want you to install Mithril Emmet. If you click on it, I already have it installed, but if you click on it, you'll see here it says this is a built-in feature for Visual Studio Code. You don't need this extension to use it. The extension is created to allow for Emmet to write. There are all these things that you can see here, but basically, you use this extension to help you in the way you write and how you're going to format your code. Then there's this Emmet Live, which is this is the, I'd say this is the most important of them. But the Emmet Live, as you can see here, it's a palette, everything, but it auto completes when you type in something. So this is the extension I want you to install. Actually, install these two. Install Mithril Emmet and also Emmet Live. Then once you install it, you're going to see how everything works. Now, once you've installed Emmet, you just click on install. You should be able to see that button. Then the other extension that you need, this is now the most important, even aside from Emmet. The most important is called Live Server. So Live Server is the extension that we use to view our applications online, right? Not really online, but on our browser. So now, as you can see here, I have already created this file here, right? Or I've written code for my project, but I want to view this, how the project looks like on the browser. I have a number of options on how I can do that. I can come to this file here. I can just come to this file. I can right click on it. Then in this case, I can go to, like, let's say open with, then I can look for how to open it. But how we view it with the live server is I just right click, then can open with the live server, right? So you can do this is one of the options. So if I click on this, let's wait for it for a minute. As you can see here, it has opened the web page. You can see here my web page, right? The other way that you can open it is you can come here. Okay, I'm going to just stop it. The other way you can open it is, as you can see here on the bottom right section, there's this here, this button that says go live. So you can also click on this, and then it automatically opens it here. So it opens a server on your machine. Then that server is the one that is going to load up your page on the browser. That is very important. Now, what you can do for you to get it, it's also an extension. So you'll come to extensions, then you're going to type in live server. So type in live server, and you should be able to see it. It comes on top. It has 63 million downloads, so it shouldn't be hard to notice it. You click on it, and then you also install this. This is the most important extension that you need. Yeah, right. So Emmet is not really important. Okay, it's important for productivity and all, but this live server, you shouldn't miss that. This one on your machine. So what it does is it opens the server, and now I can view my web page here. Now in this case, I can go ahead and type in whatever I want, and it will automatically show it here. It will automatically show it here. I'll just show you that. So I'm going to just do this. Okay, and I'm going to, okay, I just want to, know there's a shortcut for this, but I'm just giving myself a lot of work for nothing. Okay, let's do this. Awesome. So now I can go. I want us to look at both of this side by side. If I type here my page is, then okay, I'll just say, let me change this and say this is a cool website. Then I save. Note, you just Control S to save. Whenever you are writing your code and you notice that there's a white dot here next to the name of your file, that means that you have changes that you need to save. But the moment I hit save, it automatically, you've seen how it has automatically updated it here on the right side where we are opening our server, because the server is already running, so you don't have to run the server every time that you're typing in something. That is really important. So those are two of the main, basically the main extensions that you need, and the basic setup that you need for you to be fully ready to start writing HTML code. So I need to just go over this again, try to make sure everything is okay. Make sure that you install Visual Studio Code. That is really, really important. Go through the steps that are going to be shown once you've downloaded it. Then install it quickly and start setting up the basic things. So there's a number of things that we've mentioned here. Let's go to our checklist. The number of things that we mentioned is that you first of all need to you need a code editor, which is Visual Studio Code. Then once you have Visual Studio Code, you need to install these two important extensions, Emmet and Live Server. Emmet is the one that it will help us. You're going to see how it helps us in writing our code faster. Then Live Server is for the server, right? And the other thing that you need to do is you need to create a folder. So you need to go to your desktop. I prefer this to be in desktop, but again, just you can have it anywhere in your machine, but just that it's easy to access from desktop. So here you're going to create a web development folder like that, and then inside of this folder is where we're going to be writing all our code and everything that we want to do. Again, you can organize your project your files in a different way as well. So that is going to be basically it for now. And I'm looking forward to us getting started to write some HTML, some proper HTML code, and learn all about these things in the next video.